Thank you for joining me for another episode of Unleashed Alchemy. Tamara Tamu here, your fellow alchemist, bringing you magic, bringing you spiritual mastery that you can apply to every single part of your life. On this channel, we talk about stepping into the truth of you that transcends time and space, the truth of you that can bring heaven to earth, okay? Heaven being your higher consciousness. All right. So welcome. I see new subscribers here every day. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for subscribing. Don't forget to tell your friends and family about this channel. Okay, if they are into talking about metaphysics, if they are into talking about magic, if they are into talking about life beyond religious programming, send them here. All right, we have this juicy episode that we're getting into today. This episode is a little bit different episode than what you may be used to. All right, this episode is going to be, I guess you could say that it is a decoding, okay, episode. We're going to talk, let's just dive right into it. We're going to talk about the movie, The Deliverance. All right. If you have not seen it and you desire to see it, I'm not trying to avoid spoiling anything. So if you want to see it, go see it first and then come back and view this video. All right. Because I may spoil it for you. I'm just giving you a heads up. So anyway, let's talk about it. So the deliverance does not bring deliverance. It does not. All right. Now, this movie comes out at a particularly interesting time when so many more people every day, they are moving away from religious cults, religious programming, and religious dogma. They are, you'll hear it termed deconstructing from religious programming. I like to say reconstructing, because on the inside you are experiencing an identity shift, which of course is going to take effect in your life. So you are essentially reconstructing your life, which can be exciting and challenging at the same time. All right, so let me go back to the movie. So this movie, it is not unique. Okay, we've seen plenty of horror movies that were centered around religion, God, Jesus, the Bible, the church. We've seen it all, right? So many people will just look at this movie as a horror movie that could have come out on Halloween or around Halloween or even just closer to October. Okay. Now, you'll have that group of people that will simply look at it and say, well, this is for entertainment. It was just a movie. Okay, you have those people. And then you also have the religious group of people that are using this movie, and they already have, I knew after seeing the previews that you were going to have religious people that were going to use this movie as a way to justify their faith, which is fine, but really what they're doing is they're justifying their indoctrination. Okay. So now let's talk about real quick what spirituality does. Just let's veer off just for a second. We'll come back to the movie in a minute. So when you're viewing things through the lens of spirit, through the lens of higher consciousness, automatically you're going to notice symbolism, synchronicities. Okay. Automatically, you're going to go into decoding mode because you start to notice clues. You start to notice, like I said, symbols and synchronicities. Those take on what you viewed under the lens of religious programming, and what you could be looking at the same thing, and now what you're viewing through the lens of spirituality, you're going to start to notice something completely different. There's going to be, it's almost as if you're viewing things, you're seeing the different layers of life. Okay, we'll say it that way. This is because you're starting to notice hidden wisdom, which is the definition of occult. All right. Spirituality, yes, you can start to notice all of those things, but spirituality also teaches you how to integrate that knowledge and wisdom, not just to be able to see it, but to be able to integrate that into your life, to be able to integrate that newfound vision and newfound perspective into your life. So when you're viewing things, life, through the lens of infinite intelligence, you do it to receive wisdom to apply to your life, not just for entertainment. And that's very important for me to say that, and we'll talk about why. So, well, again, stay with me. We'll get back to the movie in a minute, but this part is very important. Spirituality inspires you to face yourself, to know yourself. Face yourself, to know yourself, not to judge yourself, not to hate yourself, not to shame yourself for any actions that you may have taken, but it's to know you. So let's talk about traumas for a second. Traumas, experiences in life, can create aspects of the self that are indicative of lower level energies. Because if you've been here for a while, you know that this body is energy. We are energy, okay? So those aspects are generated as a defense mechanism in an attempt to survive the pain that the trauma induced, okay? So what are examples of these aspects? Being short-tempered, being withdrawn, being vengeful, hateful, obsessive, codependent, having a constant suspicion of everyone. So these aspects, it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it, it can cause people to live from an identity that is not true to our souls. It can cause an expression and can manifest in the external environment, in our external environment, bringing about behaviors that can result in consequences that can bring about shame, embarrassment, guilt, depression, which is nothing but self-anger. It is anger that you've turned in within yourself, okay? So keep that in mind. Now, what happens when we ignore these aspects, okay? We ignore the traumas, leading to a life that is not indicative to our true sovereign. When we do that, it affects those around us as well through projection. So I'm going to use the parent-child dynamic, and you'll see why as we start talking about this movie. We haven't even gotten to the movie yet, you guys. So stick around. This is going to be a lengthy video, so just stay with me. So when we don't deal with those aspects, it affects those around us through projection. The example that we're going to use is the child-parent dynamic. So when a child, we know how absorbed children can be. They feel everything, especially babies, because they have not, they are still connected to source. They are still connected to higher consciousness. They are still connected to their bodies. Their life force energy is still highly activated because they have not been influenced by any type of programming yet. So when you have a parent that has not dealt with the aspects that we just talked about, watch this, watch what happens. The child becomes receptive to those behaviors, and that those lower level energies that the parent is displaying, that the parent that is manifesting in the parent's life, the child takes that on. Now, I'm going to say this, some of you that perhaps have trained professionally in therapy, psychiatry, psychology, you may disagree with this, but I'm going to say it anyway. When you see kids that have what we would call behavioral problems, behavioral issues, they're acting out, they're having tantrums, they can't sit still. We've labeled it as ADD or ADHD. There's a reason for that. That child is picking up on the parents' those untreated aspects. They are acting out those lower level energies that has manifested in their parents' life. Okay? Kids have taken on the energies that do not belong to them. And because they have not yet come into the overstanding that they can filter out the junk and reject at any time any lower level energy that can try and come into their field, they express what they are feeling through their behaviors. So these behaviors are indicative of low vibe energies that they have adopted. Those energies don't belong to them. So ignoring aspects also harvest disharmony. How? Through physical illness, through addictions, through other self-deprecating behavior. So this disharmony, now we're going back to the parent now. This disharmony, it leaves you susceptible for other energies to take hold in your life. It is a domino effect. This is why you see some people labeling a person as being possessed with the devil. There is no devil running around. And now I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm going to say it here. There's no devil running around. A person that is the devil is that person that thinks that they are separate from universal intelligence, which is all love. I'll leave that there. Okay. Now, and I just said this, the only devil is a person who thinks that they are separate from oneness, from infinite intelligence, and from everything good and perfect. You can use those phrases. Some people call it God, goddess, the universe, cosmic intelligence. It doesn't matter the label. Creative energy, it doesn't matter the term, doesn't matter the phrase that you choose to use. Now, religion will teach you that there is some devil outside of you that has messed up or is messing up your life or is trying to possess you. That is not the case. That is dogma. That is programming to get you to step out of your power, for you to step out of your magic, to believe that something greater outside of you is causing confusion and disharmony in your life. That is not so. Now, keeping all that in mind that we just talked about, now we're going to get into the movie. All right. So hold on to your seatbelts. I guess I should have told you to strap your seatbelt for this one. So let's get into it. So let's break down the movie. So we see the main character, which is this mother. Okay, we actually see two mothers, but the one mother, the main character, one of the main characters that is played by Andra, we know it's very evident off top that she is dealing with trauma from her childhood. All right, that has not been addressed. So she has taken on these lower level energies from the traumas from her childhood, She has these aspects that are playing out in her life as a way for her to cope with the trauma rather than facing them head on. So some of these aspects, we see her drinking a lot, which is an addiction, self-deprecating behavior. We see the effects on her children and how she treats her children. That is another manifesting behavior. That is another manifestation of those lower vibe energies. All right. We see, again, I'm going to bring this up, the effects on the mother-child dynamic. We also see that there is this familial cycle. Okay. So you're going to hear a line in the movie about an ancient demon. The ancient demon is this cycle of women in the family that have not dealt with traumas. And so these aspects that they created, that have developed as a coping mechanism to deal with the traumas, instead of facing the trauma, instead of facing themselves, they've allowed these aspects to take full flight in their life, to bring on abuse, to bring on self-deprecating behavior. Okay? So we also see with the main character, Andra Day, because of this familial cycle, she lets her mother move into the house. Again, she still has these issues with the abuse that she experienced from her mother. She lets her mother move in as punishment. She uses her mother as an excuse for payback. Okay? Now, she gets beat up by her own self-deprecating thoughts. She has these stories of self-worth, which is also another example of low vibe energies. So here's what I want to say about that. Facing yourself is challenging because not only are you releasing an identity that you think has helped you survive, you've also come into the realization that self-accountability is in order for the true self to come to the forefront. I'm going to repeat that. Facing yourself is a challenge because not only are you releasing an identity that you think has helped you survive, you also have come into the realization that self-accountability is in order for the true self to come to the forefront. Basically saying you have to face yourself for the true self to be expressed. So I'm going to say this as a side note. It's time to exist in a different way. There are no more crutches. No more crutches. Okay? You are the cause and you are the cure. Your rescue is from the inside out. But in this movie, that is not what is being taught. Because of the religious dogma that we see, it is expressed in this video that there is a devil, that there is an ancient demon causing all of this discord. That is not the case. All right? Now, how does this relate to religious programming? I'm getting ahead of myself, but that's okay. So how does this relate to religious programming? Instead of observing and acknowledging the internal disharmony, people are told that if their external life is messed up in any way, it's because the devil is messing with them and they need more faith, which then creates this complete cycle of people going to church year after year, Sunday after service, day after day, trying to get more faith, yet not experiencing harmony in their lives. So they're told to get more faith instead of saying, hey, you need to address yourself. You need to face yourself, not get more faith. All right. So now let me go to the end for a second, the end of the movie. So in the end, the main character, we see her basically get beat up by this ancient demon. All right. We see that her face is physically deformed, messed up. She's got scratches, bruises, black eyes. She's limping because this so-called ancient demon has whooped her ass. Then we see, as the next screen that comes on, we see that her physical self, the outside self, is all cleaned up. She's back to normal. But that is superficial surface healing, and it is only temporary. So with her cleared face, with her, she still has a little limp, but her, you know, physically her bruises have cleared up. So we see her drive off into the sunset with her happy children, now back to normal as it would seem. You know, they all look happy now, driving off into the car, over the bridge, into the sunset. Again, this image will not last. It could last, but for how long? Has the mother observed her inner self? Has inner healing take place? We can see her physical face is healed. Has she forgiven herself? Has she forgiven her own mother? Even though by that time, by the end of the movie, her mother has died. Has she started to mend her relationship with her kids by first apologizing for her own treatment to them because of her aspects and those lower vibe energies taking place in her life? Has she done that? So let's go back to the movie. Let's bring up another character in the movie. Now, the movie brings this prophet, okay? And in this prophet, this shows how leaders in churches are not equipped to handle any type of trauma because they always revert to, oh, it's just the devil. It was the same prophet that told the main character, hey, you're dealing with this ancient demon. All right. Now, this prophet is also symbolic to show how encouragement for codependence is influenced. Codependence being you think that there is something outside of you that is your rescue, that is your salvation. So many religious people, including myself, became codependent on something outside of me to rescue me. That is codependence. That is unhealthy. That is an unhealthy relationship with the self. Also, the prophet represents an old consciousness that is I'm so happy when I say this, that it is crumbling, which is why you hear a lot of religious people, specifically Christian people, that will say that their faith is under attack. No, it isn't. Religion is crumbling. Nothing is under attack, but religion is crumbling. So let's talk about, what is this old consciousness? Rescue, to be healed. The old consciousness says that that is outside of you. Spirituality comes in and says, no, you are the rescue. You are the healing. It comes from the inside out, not from the outside in. Your rescue and healing will not come from dogma. It will not come from programming. It will not come from anything outside of you. The old consciousness says that there is some devil waiting out there to possess you, to mess up your life. No, New consciousness says, spirituality says, there is no devil wanting to possess you or mess your life up. So I wanted to break down that movie. And I bring up those characters. So if we go back to the prophet is symbolic in general of the old consciousness. The main character, Andromeda, and I didn't talk about the character of her mother, but I figured it was just enough to talk about the main character, Andromeda, and this prophet, because they are both symbolic for so many things. So Andromeda is symbolic of a person who has been taught, who has been programmed to believe that something outside of them is going to rescue them, rather than saying no. The reason why you're having these experiences is because it's not because some devil has possessed you. It is because you have aspects of yourself that are playing out in your life that are bringing you results that are undesirable. And it's because you've developed these aspects as a form of protection from the trauma you experienced. Now, as a sovereign being that you already are, regardless of what you have experienced, you're still sovereign. Just because you have experienced hardship, just because you have experienced trouble, just because you have experienced trauma, just because you even made mistakes, does not take away from the fact that you are a sovereign being. Remember what I said earlier, you are the cause, you are the cure, you are the rescue. So this movie, it brings up so many layers. And to me, it shows the stark difference between religious programming and spirituality. Religious programming says there's some ancient demon out there that is looking to destroy your life. Spirituality says greater is within me. There is no demon. I am the cause. I am the cure. Greater is within me than anything external. I am it. I am the alchemist. Yes, I may have experienced trauma. Yes, I may have experienced struggle, but I am the alchemist. I will face these aspects so that I can bring about positive change in my life, so that I can bring about positive change in my relationships, and really in every aspect of my life. And to me, this movie shows the difference. So, like I said, you have people that are going to view this as just entertainment, fine. But for those of you that see other things, that see the symbolism, that see the hidden meanings, that see the hidden wisdom, this movie is for you. Or I should say this video was for you. So I'd like to know your thoughts. I know I covered a lot in this video. There was so much. I was so excited going through just different aspects that I wanted to talk about and different things that I wanted to pull out from the movie. So let me know your thoughts, all right? And don't forget, if you are wanting more one-on-one support, okay, in being guided to your spiritual mastery, book a call with me so we can talk about how I can support you. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Like the video, share it. If you have not subscribed, if you're going to be watching the video, my videos, subscribe since you're here anyway, right? Okay. Until next time. Cheers.